The South African Human Rights Commission has accused Operation Dudula and March members of denying illegal immigrants access to clinics in South Africa. But something doesn't really add up in this accusation because while the South African Human Rights Commission names and shames these groups, it's gone quiet on one specific party that has sits in Parliament, the Patriotic Alliance, the PA, led by Gayton McKenzie, which has said and done much worse. Why this selective outrage? What does the law actually say about who is entitled to healthcare in South Africa? And I spoke about it before, and I'll talk about it again. So let's get one thing straight. The South African Constitution, Section 27, gives everyone the right to access healthcare. But that same section adds crucial qualifier. The state, the South African government, must provide it only when within the available resources. That means the right is not absolute, it's conditional on capacity and funding. And that it's the same everywhere around the world. Okay, the Constitutional Court actually has confirmed this subsection 2, this qualifier. In a case, we already have a case, Constitutional Court case. It was Subramani versus Minister of Health, and it's saying that when resources are limited, the state may prioritize who gets treatment. And under National Healthcare Act, the current South African National Healthcare Act, non-residents, which includes illegal immigrants, can only receive health services to the extent that the Minister of Health allows. In short, emergency care, yes, but full ongoing treatment for illegal immigrants, not illegal obligations under the South African law. The National Healthcare Act, Section 4, Subsection 3, non-residents may be provided with health services only to the extent determined by the Minister of Health. Now, the South African Human Rights Commission is funded by the South African taxpayers. But instead of actually holding the current South African government accountable for collapsing clinics, it's spending public money investigating citizens for reacting to that collapse. I already told you the story about Tembisa Hospital. And by naming Dudula and March, but leaving out Patriotic Alliance, who is a current member of the GNU, the South African Human Rights Commission has made itself look more political, look more selective, politically selective. And doesn't just weaken its credibility, in my view, it actually feeds to that public distrust. Many already view the South African Human Rights Commission as a foreign aligned body out of touch with the daily struggles of South Africans who can't even get medicines on their own clinic funded by themselves because they pay tax and work to fund the clinic. No clinics in South Africa is funded by any NGO. It's funded 100% by South African taxpayer. So let's really be honest here. The community is being accused of xenophobia. This is the very community that these institutions accusing them of xenophobia are the same ones that carry the heaviest burden. When these NGOs like Sintibale collapse, as we've seen in the Sintibale reports, or when there's healthcare in Zimbabwe collapse, when donor money dries up, when foreign patients flood these local clinics, it is the poor South Africans in Soweto or Mangaung who pays the heaviest price. These are the people the South African Human Rights Commission should actually be defending, not criminalizing. Because while human rights are universal, the resources to deliver them are not. So pretending otherwise is really dishonest and politically dangerous in my view. So The South African Constitution was never designed to promise unlimited healthcare to the world. It promised reasonable measures for South African affairs based on available resources. Section 27, subsection 3 guaranteed emergency treatment to everyone. It guarantees emergency treatment to everyone, but not a permanent entitlement to chronic care or free services to those in South Africa illegally. So when South African human rights treats every denial of services as a human rights violation, it's not enforcing the law. It's reinterpreting it through ideology. That's not justice. That's activism using the South African taxpayers. South Africa is really serious about protecting human rights. We need fairness, not foreign influence. And that means holding everyone accountable, from the government departments to NGO, not just the citizens standing at a clinic gate protecting their own limited resources. Because selective justice isn't justice at all. Selective justice is propaganda.